Max Cutler leaves Spotify. The latest from Podnews.net with CBC Podcasts, looking for their next podcast hit. In another high-profile management change, Max Cutler is to leave Spotify. The founder of Parcast, he was head of audio talk shows and partnerships, reported to oversee Joe Rogan's contract, among others. It posted positive thoughts on the industry recently. There'll be more reorganization as a result. Julie McNamara will now supervise licensed exclusives. Brian Thoenson will oversee third-party content partnerships. And Bill Simmons will have more of a focus on podcast monetization. Apple Podcasts is running a number of free virtual sessions for podcasters about the platform. Classes include what's new at Apple Podcasts, setting up your subscription, and Apple Podcasts marketing tools and resources. We'll link to them today from our show notes and our newsletter at podnews.net. Podsights released the Q1 2023 podcast advertising benchmark report. It says that the average conversion rate in 2022 was 1.3%. And in Podcastage, Bandrew Scott demos and reviews Adobe Podcasts audio noise reduction and treatment tool. Some parts impress him, but it can sound a bit robotic, he thinks. In People News, Charlotte Cooper has launched Stillroom, a podcast growth and marketing company. We hear the company is working for WBEZ and Gen Z Media, among others. She had worked in marketing for WNYC, PRX and Blue Wire. Maxine Watson and Pat Young have joined UK audio company Unedited as part of a push to grow the company's formats and IP. Podcast hosting company Osha has a new CTO. Nicolas Defranou joins the company from Google, according to the press release. Well, he did work for DoubleClick in 2015. Co-founder Charles DePotter was formerly the company's CTO. He remains as CEO of Radio King, an online radio software company that shares a corporate parent. And in podcast news, Becoming an Icon is new today from Sonoro Media, a show that chronicles the lives of Latinx artists who've left an indelible mark through the sustained brilliance of their careers. It's hosted by Liliana Vasquez and Joseph Carrillo. A new true crime show launches today from ID. Why Can't We Talk About Amanda's Mum? Looks at a cold case in Mobile in Alabama in the US. It features Kayleon, who is currently serving as a special investigator for the Mobile County Sheriff's Office with new evidence and surprising suspects. And from Pushkin and Little Everywhere, Other People's Pockets launches today, asking people from all walks of life to get radically transparent about their money. How much do you really make? And how in the world can that co-worker afford a home, let alone a second home? It's a weekly show hosted by Maya Lau. This podcast is sponsored by CBC Podcasts, and CBC Podcasts is looking for its next premium quality narrative podcast series. I'd love a Podnews reader to get that. Do you have a story or partnership to pitch to CBC Podcasts? You should check out cbc.ca/pitch. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.